Hey everybody, hope you're doing good. Sorry it's been a little bit of time. We'll get started here very shortly. Hey ET, how are you? Yeah, I've been between shows, been busy, family stuff. Obviously last week was Thanksgiving on the day we normally do this, so I'm gonna. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. Yeah. Battled a few illnesses, fighting some stuff that came up with our cat, so unfortunately, and yeah, so it's been tough to jump on a live and whatnot, so but I'm here now. So we'll get here started in just a second. Looks like people are jumping in. Yes, I will activate the computer cam full screen. No, not that one. Computer cam. Right, that's the one. Hey everybody, how are you? Hilltop, how are you today? Sage Green. Hello from Florida, where it's probably a whole heck of a lot warmer than here in the hellscape that is Northwest Indiana right now. ET says pretty good. Josh might be getting my first ever clutch in a few days. Hey, congrats! It's always incredibly exciting. When that happens, so it never gets less exciting, quite frankly, really. Even like, is that the one that just came out? I don't know. There was a video where like I don't know why we filmed them back to back, just for transparency's sake, even though they were two separate videos. But one of them was like incredibly exciting, and I hit something super important. And then in the other one, I think it was like bells, and I like fist pumped and like yelped when I hit like a bell. I just, yeah, it's whatever. So, 64 degrees here now. That doesn't sound fun for Florida, but it's a lot better than, what is it right now, Jenny? Out there? It's 20? With wind chill? What's it with wind chill? That's important around here. So. Yeah, there is. Anyway, it's fine. It's cold and there's snow everywhere, which I don't care about the snow. That's cool, actually. So. Hope your kitty is okay. I appreciate that. But yeah. Yeah, needless to say, we've been going to the vet, so it is gonna be what it's gonna be, and I'll do what I have to do and keep fighting for her. But fortunately, that's just how that happens. But not to be sad. Let's not talk about sad stuff. Let's talk about cool stuff. And there are a lot more than I thought there'd be. Let's face it, it's cold, it's winter, there's not a lot of shipping. In fact, I think Morphmarket just shuts it all down, which I'm not shipping a lot these days because I'm not keeping up with it, which I should. A lot of it, I'm just doing really good at shows and such like that, but there's certain ones I'm getting to the point where I'm not selling these at our local show, obviously. So I do need to finally, like I've been saying for a very long time now, update on something. I gotta figure something out, whether it's starting a Patreon for some of this stuff and finally restarting the Morph Market. I had it good, I had it great for a while, and then I just started selling things, and I was just like, why doing that, when I can sell them in person. So, but there's certain ones I do need to, and I'll probably take this Christmas break to revamp and figure that all out. But a lot of people are not shipping right now, and it's not just the cold. It's in fact, the cold isn't even the biggest deal. It's the enormous amount of traffic from holiday shopping. I personally just at the beginning of November, if someone I'm not shipping anymore at that point, all the way up until next year sometime. Sometimes it's all the way in March, quite frankly, but in terms of just a hard stop, it'll be sometime in early mid January roughly, because shipping is just still crazy even until then nowadays. So most people are shopping online, and FedEx doesn't have a dedicated group of reptile movers. They pull, it's all from that overnight people. So yeah, just the point of the matter is that what we're looking at here is a lot of people aren't going to be listing as much because they know it's not gonna probably move for a little while. They'll get their money, but let's face it, you're gonna be sitting waiting to ship these. But without further ado, let's finish up with the comments and get started. Hoping to get into breeding soon myself. Been a reptile lover since a kid, but never realized how complex ball pythons are. And have really gotten interested in the past week or so. Oh, it's like a disease when it comes to the interest of the morphs and such like that. So it is both complicated and not complicated at the same time. And I know that's cliche to say, but it really is the truth. I mean, in the end, these are very hardy animals, and it's very delicate, but honestly also easy to breed them. The complication comes in with figuring out how to work these genes and how to, do that, and that takes a lot of research and looking at things, seeing how others have done too. I mean, I know it's easy to say, oh, don't look at anyone else, and you go trailblaze your own trailblaze, and say that word, your own path, but you really do need to take inspiration, from others and see what works with what, because a lot of those combos are going to be things that you reuse. So, but yeah, and you just learn how recessives and incomplete dominance and such work, and then you're red as rain. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started, though. As you can see, there's like 11 pages here. Sometimes things get added at the last minute, but I'll take a look at the end. There's one we missed, and it didn't even sell, which I was very surprised because it's back up right here. It was a Hurricane Leopard Clown. This was just listed. This is from Valpo. I didn't even see that. This is literally where we live. Gosh dang it. Okay, it's not a girl. If it was a girl, I'd have been kind of... That's free shipping anyways. It's fine. This is literally my city. Didn't even see it. I just kind of add these usually. But anyways, it was a lot less than this. So this was missed out on. And I think it was a very good animal. Hurricanes are awesome. I love what they do to the head on clowns. We just recently got a hurricane. It's a hurricane... what is it completely? Hang on, I'll be right back. Leopard Hurricane, double het Monarch Clown, female. That's what it is. From Bob's, and couldn't be any more happy about that. Shout out to Leviathan to showing me that, telling me about that listing like months ago now, right? It's been a bit, yeah, like 2 or 3 months now. Because I picked her up at Tinley. But I finally got Hurricane in the collection, and I'm excited to get it in the Clown, and I'm very, very excited to get it in the Monarch Clown. So that's something I'm very excited about. So, as you can tell, considering I said very 400 times there. But this just kind of goes to show you, especially around this time of year, the interest in buying will go down too, because people know that they can't ship and such like that, and obviously you're buying a bunch of stuff for Christmas. This is the time to do it. Yes, you might be sitting and waiting for it, but who cares, right? That means it's going to get fed for free. Cool. That's the way you got to do it. You got to leverage your impatience. With that being said, had I gone for this one here, I probably wouldn't have, just because I have these genes, obviously. I just mentioned them in a girl, but with Monarch. And yeah, they are hets, but if I want to work that in the Monarch, I kind of need to have at least that het, right? But dang, if I'm not going to be taking a look a little bit more closely. I didn't know someone in my literal backyard was posting today. But yeah, things get missed that should go. I see it a lot. It just depends on the day, and it depends on the time. It depends on the time of year. This is the time to start looking, I think, on these auctions for something you want, and see if you can find what plugs in. Good. Yeah, there'll be less opportunities, but there's still 11 pages. I mean, usually there's like 20 or something, right? But still a lot of really good opportunities. Like I said, this was much less. I don't remember the exact amount. I just know it started with a 1. Okay, I know that, and it obviously did not sell. So, lots of comments coming in. Et, only paired my boy and girl once for 3 days because I'm in no rush for eggs. Which, yeah, no, definitely don't want to rush anything. Make sure you got everything in place that you need, because once the eggs are there, you immediately need to incubate. You can leave them with the mom. Technically, that is a valid thing, but they do believe that they have a less likelihood of hatch rate, I guess, is what you'd say. Some people are absolutely for that naturalistic approach, and hey, you do you, but I'm definitely going to go for the option where I get the most vital or viable eggs and whatnot. So but I mean, you said the question, how soon do they normally do a pre-lay shed? I say 30-50 days before eggs, but I'd assume I think that it goes what was it, ovulation, then pre-lay shed, and then they say like 30 days. I used to try to follow that to a T, and now I don't. I just don't track it really. I'll pay attention, like, don't get me wrong, and I kind of like, I think she will, but it's like, in the end, we're checking so much. It's just when we're ready at all times. I have a bunch of boxes over here. I have vermiculite on the go. I have my incubator in there. We're ready to go at any point. So it's just, if there's eggs, there's eggs. We check them every day, twice a day, typically, at least once a day, and everything. Making sure they got water and everything anyways. So if they're ready, they're ready. So I just say make sure that you've got everything good to go. Plug your incubator in, so that it's ready to go right off the rip. And but yeah, the reason I don't check anymore is because I've had ones just surprise me. I had one shed once and then lay like 2 days later. I've had ones that I thought were ovulating, where they're just like, oh, they're ovulating right now, and then like the next day there's eggs, and I'm like, what happened here? And then there's ones that I didn't think were gonna lay, and I said, yeah. I think I remember several instances of telling my brother here, like, I think she's skipping this year. Yeah, I mean, look at this. It's just, it's done. We'll just move her on. And I think I went to my chart and literally updated my chart saying like, all right, next year. And then the next day, there's eggs. And it's, so after a while, I just said, I don't care. I'm going to do my pairings, and if there's eggs, then great. You know, the best way to do that would be to look for with the ultrasound machines, of course, but those are expensive. You're going to literally sacrifice a high quality snake to buy one of those. So I just don't see the point, you know. The birds and the bees are the birds and the bees, and no amount of pre-lay sheds and ultrasound machines are going to stop that from occurring if nature deems it necessary or happening. So yes. Hey Dickie, how are ya? It happens a few days before. Like I said, it did for me. Usually I say it's like a half. It's, you know, the saying is that it's like, I think 30 days before, but I just stopped, you know, paying attention to myself. I shouldn't say paying attention. Stopped tracking it. IFFK. Really wanted to see an Exantic TSK Monsoon or Chocolate Monsoon. Love the Monsoon pattern so much. We are actually going to go over some Monsoons today. Not those though, but those would be cool. Color is the best thing to get in a Monsoon, I think. And I think like an Exantic, wow, think about a Desert Ghost Exantic Monsoon. Given how clean the DG Exantic clowns are, that would be sharp. That would be really sharp. So, Pathetic is Obsession, how are you? Spicy Noodle Exotics, how are you doing? Macromorph, what is up? ET, she literally shed maybe 8 days before the pairing. But I'm in no way, especially because she ate after. Well, that's the thing too. I've had them eat and then lay eggs. Or they'll start eating like 2 weeks before, and I'm like, okay, it looks like they reabsorbed, and then they lay eggs. So I stopped. I mean, yeah, I know for the most part it's gonna follow that formula, but I've had enough tricks that I just said, okay, you know, there's gonna be eggs, and we are ready right away to put them away and mark them. And I've got a whole system here, our incubator back there. So yeah, right now there's what is there back there? 2? There's just 1. There's two. Not a whole bunch amongst them. And I think one of them has some bad eggs in it. And then we also have Herman's tortoise eggs in there, but I don't think they're good because it was her first year. Hope they were. Even if I could get one of those little suckers, that would be so cool. So, all right, let's move on to our next one here. This one is active, and it ends in 32 minutes and 12 seconds. And it is from Brock Wagner Reptiles, one of the better breeders out there, especially when it comes to sunset. I don't know why I highlighted things like that, but it is a fire pinstripe sunset spot nose girl. So a lot of genetics in here that you can definitely start playing around with right away. Doesn't look like spot nose was added to here, but they definitely added it up here. So sometimes when you set these up, if you forget, I don't think you can edit them after once the auction's live, which I mean absolutely makes sense, right? Because you know you have a live auction somebody's bidding on, and then suddenly you're changing things. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this. It's a lot of genetics in there. I know some people will look at the sunset and in some ways and say, oh well, you know, it might, you know, especially like with pinstripe, you know, that I'm not, you know, basically it might seem like it browns out in some ways, but there is a whole heck of a lot of cool stuff you can do with this, and there's a lot of ingredients here that you can start playing around with. My favorite one is in the Ultramel to date anyways. We'll see if the Monarch version of the sunset, the Monarchs with that dethrones that, or if it's about the same. But the Ultramel ones that I've seen so far are great. The Super OD one that Leviathan had was especially wonderful, and that's kind of almost where I would suggest working this is into a banana is another easier one to get into, because obviously as an incomplete dominant you don't need to get that recessive, you don't have to do a breeding, you can do it right away. So banana would be a great one. I think I love the banana sunsets as well. I've seen the lavender ones. Basically as soon as people started working them into things that enhance that, I think a lot of people were really chasing the red, right? They were like, oh, the sunset, it's got this orangey tinge, let's chase that red. So they were going in a different direction for its first, you know, for when it was first came out. And realistically, I think like the whole time the amazing potential in sunset was in the other direction. Because they age and so beautifully. Let me actually look that up, the Sunset Ultramel. You probably get the one from Leviathan, in fact. Sunset Ultramel. Super OD. I'll pop it up. There we go. You'll see what I'm talking about pretty quickly, if I can get it to that part of the video. There we have it. Far cry different from that, right? That's some of the most beautiful oranges that you have seen in a ball python, that's for sure. So that's the potential of sunset is what I'm getting at. It is a really vibrant orange, and this is honestly this is a really good picture of it. I know that it's not getting like the most glorious angle, sure, but to show that orange and next to the white from underneath of the snake kind of gives it that orange creamsicle type look. So definitely an amazing animal. Sunset is awesome, and I right now I don't think you're gonna find a better deal on a female sunset at this point. That is really good with some really good genes in there. Fire especially, or spot nose especially. Fire is also really good to kind of lighten it up too. So very cool. Alrighty, another one here would be in the puzzle project. This is also really great deal and ends fairly soon. I'm kind of, oh, there's a reserve on it. Okay, I did not catch that when I first grabbed it. No idea, of course, when the reserve would end or what price point, right? It can be whatever they want. I'm a big fan personally of starting at my reserve, but I definitely think reserves have a place and everybody should put how they want. But this is a really cool one for the puzzle project. Red Exantic, you might know as HRA, is Het Red Exantic. It is actually not a recessive. This is not classified as one, right? So HRA is what they call it now, just out of you know, trying to not make it confusing. So when you get the double copy, it's Red Exantic. but that kind of gives it. I honestly thought this was just like an Xanthic at first, but you can kind of see where it comes and gets that in that name. They are not compatible with any of the other types of Xanthic, by the way. There's also Pastel, Orange Ghost, and Puzzle. And I've never worked Orange Ghost, but from my understanding, it's another line of hypo. And it is not compatible, but I could be wrong in that, so please do not quote me. Puzzle is definitely where it's at, though, and again, in another female. So depending on what this one went for, I think it would be a really good deal. Puzzle is awesome. It's one of the more incredibly pattern distortions that you can get out there. It really pulls the pattern up from the belly and keeps it right there on the side, so it's very, very busy there, kind of going over the dorsal as well. It's really good with other, color morphs because of this as well. What I always recommend is when there's a reserve price is just bid up to where you're comfortable. I don't know why it always shows that we're not logged in, so it's not going to let me show you, or apparently will. Cool. That was weird. There's like a glitch on this computer where it says I'm never logged in, and I am. But yeah, that's weird. I click on it, it goes away. What am I thinking? Of course it goes away. Never mind. But just bid it up in increments that you, right now I think it's a $10 increment, because the way they changed it is that, as it gets more up there, you have to have certain increments. So just bid it up in little increments. So maybe $50 here, $50, until you reach the point where either the reserve falls off or you're not comfortable going any higher. And because even if you're winning, if the reserve is not beat, then it is a null and void auction. So bid to where you're comfortable, but don't just type in what, let's just say you wanted to bid, oh, well, I'm willing to spend $750 on this girl. Don't just type $750. What if it dropped at 500? You'd waste $250 if no one else, tried to start bidding you up. So definitely a cool one. I just don't know what that reserve price would be. So the Orange Ghost, yeah, it's like I said, it's like from my understanding of it, it's like a line of hypo. I don't think this is gonna show me its actual page, the traits page. I don't know why I bring it over here sometimes. Traits. Well, I know why. Because we're live, and God knows what happens, right? Let's see if I can get it here. Orange Ghost. There we go. See how they have it? Recessive mutation, just like hypo. But it gives more of an orangey tinge to it, kind of like you see here. So it definitely has that hypo-ish type look, but gives it more of an orangey tinge. But it is not compatible with hypo, just so that you know. For the longest time, hypo was called Ghost, and you still hear it called that, honestly, to this day. But ever since I think the really high rising flame of Desert Ghost, it became very confusing. So it kind of reverted back to its original name of hypo, because it would be really crazy to call something a Desert Ghost, or a Ghost Desert Ghost. Yeah. Alrighty, moving right along to one that I may or may not have had a little bit of interest in. Definitely threw a placeholder on there, and we'll be seeing what he ends at. Would be this Spot Nose Monarch Possible Het Clown. The Spot Nose is a big time plus there, but the Possible Het Clown is what entices me heavily, because to date, one of my favorite Monarchs that I ever saw was a Spot Nose Monarch Clown, and it is one that just absolutely put me over the edge. And not that I wasn't already going to get into Monarch, it definitely absolutely stamped that envelope and made it so that I was going in there. And if you were interested, that is that animal right here. I don't know if it was ever proven to be possible, or if it was red stripe or not. I suppose that'd be a good question for the next time I see Justin at Tinley. But this is it is one of the most gorgeous animals I've ever seen. That is an absolute plum color, and plum is purple. So this is a purple snake. I I mean, that is the color I see, this burgundy plumish type color right there. Almost hints of like dried blood type coloring, if you will. It is by and far some of the most intense colors. You really can't get this anywhere else. And if this proves out as Het Clown, that is what you're kind of aiming for. You just get yourself a, I mean, heck, you could work them against each other with a Clown Het Monarch girl, and kind of go for it that way. Or you could get another Monarch Het Clown, but those will be obviously more expensive than probably a Clown Het Monarch. So definitely a really cool looking one here. This is absolutely a must, of course, before you were ever to get any girl to put this to get, you know, send a shed test into RGI for a clown. Just answer that question as soon as humanly possible. That way you know. But even if it is just a spot nose clown, that is still a really cool genetic to work into Monarch, because of just how awesome and versatile the spot nose gene is. It works with just about everything. So the only thing that you really don't see people liking to use it with is, of course, itself. Sometimes some people are against that, creating the Powerball or the 8-ball. I don't remember which one it's called. But you know, that creates a snake that's a little more wobbly. Some people don't care. Some people very much care. I'll leave the ethics debate to others. And then, of course, the spider gene itself. I think it might be lethal. I think it is lethal. Either way, I personally would never do it, especially if it's lethal. So, but yeah, that's, like I said, what you are potentially taking a stab at, and it is absolutely a beauty. So, Orange Ghost is one of the oldest lines, and yes, it is compatible with Hypo. Oh, like I said, don't quote me, so I don't know for sure. But it is a really neat one, that's for sure. So, there's a spot nose hurricane yellow belly clown on Morphmarket that I'm absolutely in love with. I might have seen that. I'm not sure if I included it in this. Obviously, for time's sake and whatnot, I can't include everything, but it is, I do believe I saw that one. So, spot nose hurricane yellow belly clown. Maybe I did edit. I don't know. I definitely saw it. Hey, Morphin Time, how are you? And they say better late than never. All right, next one would be a Pandapide. This one looks like it's got some size to it. It does not say if it is a proven breeder or not, but being born in 2021, I would say it's probably the size. You have 21 hours on here, however, so you can always message the breeder about that. But Pandapides are obviously, they're one of the most insanely contrasted animals because they are just pitch black, really, and white. Now, the one thing with Pandapides is that, well, it's what you're seeing here is not uncommon. They're very high white, which is crazy when you think about the fact that black pastel is a dark gene. When combined with pied, even one copy of it really takes away a lot of the pattern, and just creates more white in it. 2 copies, in fact, it's not unheard of at all for Pandapides to be all white. That is a thing that has happened, and that sucks, in my opinion. So getting more pattern in it can be challenging. That on top of the fact that Pandapides themselves, they're fine once they're born. If they're proven to be fine, like this animal here, if it is good, then there's nothing to worry about. But making the Pandapide has a higher chance of creating when you hit the super black pastel, of creating a kinked snake. It's not like more than 50% or anything crazy like that, but it is more. Anytime you breed a snake, you can get kinks. You can get horrible things, deformities that are not cool. But it does increase the chances of a kinked snake. Whether that's a small kink or a really horrible life-ending one, is, you know, that's can be random. So, but just always like to tell people about that. But to get a Pandapide would not have that, you know, the babies would not do that as long as you didn't breed it to another black pastel. It would always pass on black pastel in one copy of the pied gene. So everything you bred it to, even if you bred it to a normal, would be black pastel het pied. So you could use it in that regards too, because I believe you can create what they call, I don't know, it's not the obsidian. The obsidian is with blackhead and mahogany with the sumapites, which is what I love the most, honestly. But you can kind of create something along those lines, working it to blackhead, working it to mahogany, and kind of create a really cool, awesome snake without those issues, and maybe a little more variety and pattern for that matter too. So still a really cool, powerful animal. Again, does have a reserve price right there, so that is something to consider. It is being bid on though, as you can see, and it has just under a day. Alrighty, let's see what we're doing here. All right, next one up is one that is incredibly exciting. If it stays in this range, I mean, I probably will take a stab at it, because I don't have Wookiee in my collection at the moment. And this is a female Wookiee yellow belly clown. Just 2 genes on top of clown, but those genes are very powerful, especially together. Wookiee is a key component to some really awesome combos. Yellow belly is versatile in literally everything that it's in. It creates something awesome and improves it. So the one I'm thinking, of course, is the Kraken. It is a very important key component of it. There's I think multiple ways to create Krakens, I'd say, but as you can see, clown, yellow belly, Wookiee, there you have it. So this one here just has a few others that you can add in there to kind of create something along these lines. Mojave, GHI, Black Pastel, these are not difficult things to work into things. And there's other directions you can go to working these, honestly. Maybe create something that's like a combo between a Wookiee and the Pompeii, because yellow belly's in there too. Kind of work somewhere in between there. Not saying you get all of it at once, but you know, you work something in between. Maybe create something else that's equally as awesome. Because when you're shooting for those types of combos, you're always gonna hit awesome stuff. So this female has a lot of power in that she is a visual clown already, and she has 2 key components to grow up. I mean, this is a really good price. It will go more, I'm assuming, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it myself even. Excuse me, because this is just a really good deal right now. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it is that time of year where I think people are not as engaged with Morphmarket because they're just not shipping, really. They're not suggesting shipping. And good on them, honestly. I don't either. I don't think it's worth it. Again, like if I buy a snake and it sits with the breeder for, heck, I don't care if it sits with them for 5 months, especially a little one. Cool, that's free food. if it can't go anywhere. So it's, you know, and it's just growing underneath them now at this point. Obviously at some point you want to get your snake, but the point of the matter is that, you know, it being in your possession is not the most important thing, because if it gets hurt, or worse, lost in shipping, that's not good. But anyways, off my soapbox on that one. The point of the matter is that don't be afraid to bid. Even if you have to pay for it right away, you know, as long as you're not breaking the bank and ruining Christmas for everybody. This is a good time, I think, to do it, because there's less engagement right now, and that's when you go. What do they say? Buy the dip. There you go. That's the snake stock. This is not stock advice. That's what I'm supposed to say, right? But you get the point. It's low. Did it just go up $5? No, it didn't. I'm imagining things. But like I said, you can take advantage of it if there's not a lot of people paying attention, like our first one, where it literally just did not sell, and it was a very, very favorable price that I later found was from someone in my city. So, and I know who they are, so I just didn't see it at the time. So, all right, moving right along. Now back into the sunsets with this leopard sunset from Bob's. Really good price, very, very good price. You want to start getting into the sunset, you can get your female right here, start growing her up, and it's a visual. Isn't that great? You can start thinking about all sorts of cool projects like that ultramelon one I was talking about, maybe different directions. again, another one I'm going to pay attention to, because if people don't want to pay attention to this and let something go for a ridiculous amount, I'm all about it. I really want to work the Monarch sunsets at some point. That will probably be my extent of it, but who knows, right? I definitely want to work it into Monarch, though. Monarch is my jam, right? So I would very much like to do this. Someone else will beat me to the punch. Someone already has the ingredients out there. Heck, we'll probably see it next year. That would be really cool, but it doesn't change that I have plans and thoughts that I want to do with it too. So still a very cool animal. Not too much more to say other than the fact that you get a leopard sunset here from a very good breeder at a very good price right now, under 24 hours. So all right, now on to those monsoons that we were talking about earlier. There's a couple of them. I think there might be even a few other like hets. Yeah, no, there's always a lot of hets. So I believe Jersey guys had some hets up there too. So, but you have a male here. I think it's another, no, and a female. Both from Reptile Creations. They do have different times. As you can see, they're separated by about 2 days. So the female is a little bit later, and you can see she's already more. Monsoons have come down. There is no reserve on this. This is going to sell. If it sells for $620 or it sells for more, it will go for more, by the way. But they are starting to come down because people are starting to create this combination, and therefore supply and demand. That's what it is. If the demand doesn't continue to grow massively, then the supply is going to catch up with it at some point. They're still very expensive snakes, as you can tell, and they are insane. There is nothing out there that disrupts the pattern more than Monsoon. I still don't know if it is confirmed, but I always think it's named Monsoon because it looks like a ton of rain drops on this animal. They look really good. Looks like this one was created from a Monsoon to a fire hit Monsoon. You know, take that with what you will. I like when they post the pairings, though. I think if you're gonna, tip of the day, put your pairing in your listing, because it gives someone the idea, like, well, maybe it could be something else if later on down the route, if somehow fire pops up. I don't think this one is, but I mean, heck, I don't know exactly how much. Yeah, that's a pretty dark head, but you get the point. Like, if, you know, there could be some more crazy things in there, and you should give that opportunity for someone else to see. Maybe it was something else was in there you didn't know about. So, but you have that one there, and you have this one here, and I've noticed this too. There's some variety. I mean, you might look at the difference here and say, like, well, clearly that one's different from this one. But if anything, this one's darker, and that would be the one that had fire. So this one is just a Monsoon to a Monsoon. So I definitely see some variety in some of these. One bid right now, but it is a lot of money. So you'll have people very interested, but I don't know how polluted. That's the wrong word, polluted. How many people will be in the pool to get this animal. So if you are wanting to get a Monsoon, you're not going to find them much cheaper, or cheaper at all, quite frankly. So if you are, like I said, if you're wanting a Monsoon project, you can get both of these right away. With that being said, you'd just be recreating Monsoon at this point, in which case, like I just said, supply and demand. By the time they're ready, these are not going to be going for what you bought them for. Even at auction, probably. They'll still be going for a lot because they are going to be a high sought after animal. You see, here's the thing. Supply and demand changes as you go down, especially in ball pythons. So, the supply might be very low. The demand is very high when they first came out. That's why they're going for 10 grand, if not more. But as it starts to come down, your demand will go up in some cases, but only at that price point. Because now I say, maybe I'm interested now at this price. So suddenly you unlock yourself to a whole slew of extra people. I mean, if Monsoons suddenly become $500 and you're making, I don't know, 20 of them a year, you can probably count on selling all of those very, very easily. Which they're not 500, but you get the point. And that's a good chunk of change. So consider it that way. You're always increasing the supply, the demand portion of it as you reach different price points. So that will keep going up, and that increase will stall any drop at points, right? It'll stall it because it'll be like, okay, I'm gonna stay there for a little bit. But yeah, so questions here. There's a lot of hets, at least not an auction. Haven't checked the auctions. Oh, there's a bunch of hets. Yeah, I mean, I have a het over there. But there are some. I know I saw Jersey Guy Balls had some. I just don't know if they were males and females. Obviously, a lot of people prefer their hets and females, and that makes a lot of sense. If you're gonna get a het versus a visual, go with the het and the female, because that male is gonna breed to more things. For example, if you were to buy one of these, like if you had the opportunity to buy this male and, I don't know, 3 het monsoons, you should probably do that versus buying this girl here and 1 het female, right? Or het male. Because buying multiple het males isn't going to do you any good. But you can get away with having 1 male breed to several females. Obviously, the female can't breed to several males. It's not going to help her produce any more per year. That's why I'm getting at it, is that you know, he can pass his genetics along a lot quicker, and get into more combos. So if you want to work this into, say, Monarch or something like that, you breed it to a female Monarch, and then poof, you got double hets. So I made a ton of double het holdbacks this year of not that, but of like Monarch Clowns, Monarch Pied, Monarch Puzzle, all that sort of cool stuff, and bought some stuff in too to help diversify that genetic pool I'm messing with. I'm very excited for 2 years from now. I hope. Maybe 3. But that's the, yeah. So it is a cool opportunity to get into them. Get back into the comments here. Breeding question. I've been pairing a few of my snakes for the last 3 weeks, but seeing no locks. For a few weeks they were sleeping on each other. Last week they seemed very uninterested in each other. Is that good or bad? I mean, obviously seeing a lock is nice, right? But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, if it happens when you're not looking, it happens. Like I was saying, the birds and the bees are the birds and the bees. But, you know, if the female is laying on the male, it probably means she's not very interested. They do that because they're bigger, and they can simply, if the male won't leave her alone, she just, okay, now I'm gonna pin you in place. Not really, but you get the point. But again, I've seen things. I mean, all it takes is a moment. You know, I know some people say they see their snakes lock up for 3 days, and I certainly have too. But it doesn't take 3 days for that to happen. It takes very little time. And it's happened to me too, where I saw no locks and I got eggs. In fact, that happened with my Monarch het puzzles. And I have them now. They're cinnamon Monarch het puzzles, and I can't wait. So, there's a special Monsoon going for 10K right now. It's gorgeous. Special ones are awesome as well. Hey, Leviathan, Stephen or Courtney. How are you today? Showed off your found another reason to talk about your Ultramel sunsets earlier. Always love those. Monsoons look so cool. I couldn't agree more. The only thing I say is that just since the pattern is so perfect, that where do you go from there, right? It's color. The color is the name of the game on those ones. So I think a lot of those are going to be. I'm trying to see if I can find one with a really nice color. Some of them are still going to be worked into those. Like I said, the Ultramels and the Monarchs, Sunsets, stuff like that. Let's see if I can't find one. Okay, nothing there. Nothing popping up right now, so. Hey, Shot Blocker, I appreciate the $3. Thank you so much. Don't ever expect anything like that, but I definitely appreciate it. It goes to help me feed my editor here. But no, seriously, I really appreciate it. Thank you. What do you think of the Orange Crush morph? It's not it's ringing a bell, but not ringing a bell. I remember hearing about it. Oh. Yeah, that's what happens when I look things up on the fly. Oh, yes. Yes. I don't really have a lot of thoughts about it, to be honest. I know some people have, I believe I've heard people say, speak strongly one way or the other. It's not my cup of tea. I know it's a recessive, it was classified as a recessive. But that being said, I mean, there has been morphs out there that people have said that about and said, I don't know how I feel about that one, right? And then someone finds out what it works with. And then it all explodes from there. Lace was not only recently discovered, it's been around for a long time, actually. And then within the last 4 to 5 years, I'd say, you really see a large amount of social media attention around it, and deservedly so, because it does such a great thing, because people figured out what to do with it, right? It was really subtle by itself, so it was just like, I don't know. That's kind of a subtle one too, right? That's a subtle one. So maybe people haven't found out what it works with yet. I don't know. So that's kind of where I think about it. I never count anything out. So I do think it's interesting, and it just you have to sell your morph. Does that make sense? It's not literally selling it, but to prove to people, I mean, some of them are obvious than others. You get Monarch, there it is, it's very obvious. Sunset, very obvious what it's doing. But some of them, like Lace, you need to create a champion. I saw, I think it was Justin, yeah, talk about this. And you need to sell that morph to people. You need to be able to show, hey, this is what it does. So that is really great advice from him that I heard, and it absolutely makes sense. You need to create the MVP of the team to do it, to sell that, and that's essentially where that comes in. And so never count anything out. They sit around for decades sometimes, or maybe not decades, but a decade before someone says, boom, here, look at what I did. So consider that, I guess. I bring my instantly the super orange green banana monsoon clown for some weird reason. Yeah, that'd probably be cool. Constricting creations, how are you today? Orange Crush kind of browns out. I don't know if I've seen an adult, so. But then again, like I said, you know, as you got to find the right combo. By itself, you know, maybe it's whatever, but when you put things together, when you find the perfect concoction, that's when it really matters. So, like I said, I think an Exantic TSK or a chocolate monsoon would look so cool. Anything with color, yep. Eventually, if you could manage to get the pattern to be dark brown rather than black. I don't know how possible that is, though. Brown is definitely a color that ball pythons can represent. So, you know, in color with those, that's the way to go. I would very much, like I was saying, love to see a Monsoon DG Exantic, because I think the contrast there would be perfect. It would clean it up, but yet keep it chaotic. But then again, that's what I think, right? I'm pretty certain that hasn't been done yet. When you make it, is when it actually tells the truth. Sometimes you think something will work together a certain way, and it should work together a certain way, but it's not like actually mixing paints here. Color theory is a wonderful thing, but it doesn't technically apply to genetics. So, I think a lot about, I think a lot of cool morphs got overlooked by all the clown hype. Not a huge Monsoon fan, but I want to see a rainbow Monsoon. That'd be another good one too. I'll have an even pastel in it. The pastels are interesting when you get them in there because it changes a lot of it up in these. So, But that is you. I mean, you do make a fair point. Clown is heavily, Clown and Pied are heavily, um, you know, the benchmarks. Really, when you make a new morph, people will think, I think automatically, like, oh, I can't wait to see this mixed with Clown. Can't wait to see this mixed with Pied. So a lot of people kind of default to those modes, and there's a good reason for that though, and they deserve it because they are intensely, you know, they intensely change the snake, and are able to be proven in lots of different combos. Like I was saying, you make your MVP. I mean, how many MVPs has Clown made? Gosh, a trillion. How many MVPs have Pied made? You get the point. So it is an easy go-to when you want to put it to things. Easy. So that's why people couldn't wait to see the puzzle Clown, and that, well, didn't look how people thought it would. But then again, maybe there's a way you can make that look that way. So that's what's so wonderful about all this, is that it's figuring all this out, and it's so exciting. And sometimes you find things that are really, really cool, and sometimes it's not exactly what you thought it would be, but you kind of immediately are thinking, what's next? Even when you hit that awesome thing, you're thinking, okay, how do I do the next? What's next? And that's how your mind should work. So anyone else think that a confusion pinstripe is a poor man's Pied? See, I think pinstripe is awesome. It's always been one of my favorite simple old school morphs. That's why I never understand when I've heard people tell me, like, I'm not a big fan of pinstripe, but I really love those monsoons. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's more extreme, but like, come on, pinstripes are awesome, and they don't, you know, there's ways you can create like these awesome things with it too. So the pin pied, or not the pin pied, the pin pay is what I mean. If you haven't seen that, so it is really cool. But we're gonna go ahead and move on. All right, this one is more of a budget one, clearly, and it still has some really good genetics in here. This is a Stranger Leopard het clown here. And you can, I mean, it's obviously got very few bids on it right now. And one bid at $5, it will probably go up. But with that being said, again, this is kind of how you can start. It's in a female itself, so you get yourself a visual clown and kind of go to it from there and create something awesome. Can you go get the one we just recently created?
Which one?
It's the Stranger Yellow Belly, all that combo, the one I'm keeping. That's kind of how I did something. I got a Stranger Yellow Belly het clown from supposed to be Owlman, not Papyrus. Right there. Down one, down one. There you go, middle. Thank you. And yes, he's wearing a mask for a reason. It's a meme at this point, and we're just committing to the bit. This is. I'm super happy about this animal right here. This is what I believe is a Stranger Yellow Belly, spot nose clown, and 50% het hypo. I don't know if the camera is gonna. Yeah, let me blow up the picture here. But I guess the point is that, you know, like, you can kind of see where you get this, and I made mine from a Stranger Yellow Belly het clown from Spartan Pythons. I do think there is something to be said about Stranger, though. There are. I'm telling you right now, I don't know if there's multiple lines. Hey there. Or there's let me get the camera blown up here. There we go. Or there's just an incredible amount of different variety, but I have definitely seen it. You have a hair on your eye. How did you get that? Probably from me. There you go, it fell off. But this animal right here, I don't know if this is capturing it perfectly. It's getting a little bit, but you can kind of see a lot of the shading in there. There's a lot of little dots. There's an actual video of me showing this animal off. I'm just gonna load that video. You can see the difference when I do that. But this is the girl. YouTube. Hi. Just to kind of show you some of the cool stuff you can do with Stranger. It is incredibly awesome, and it is no longer $2,000 like when I first got into it. All right. Oh no, this is Stranger. Okay. All right, we'll wait for the ad. And is this her? Yes. So this is a better, as you can see right here. Am I not? Yeah. What am I doing? I almost made that same mistake. I figured I found it out first though. All right. Peter Cam. There we go. Just such an awesome animal. And just immediately I'm thinking like, where am I gonna go from here? So I kind of want to get infusion into this. I am working Hydra as well. So I just love the little black speckles that just paint the corner of every single scale. And she just really, honestly, when I was recording this, and I still see it right now. There we go. Yep, perfect. It looks like a kind of gives me the idea of like the rainbow boas, the Brazilian rainbow boas or whatever. Okay, you can put her back. Pause this. Iris. Should make it play the music each time you come out with it on. But that's kind of, I guess, where I'm going at. And somebody apparently was listening because they just bid. So, you know, I was mentioning there are different types of stranger, I feel. I don't know for sure. I would love to see, you know, to talk to Ben at RGI about this a little bit more. Let me get her out. This is my stranger yellow belly girl. That is the mom to the one you just saw. She's het clown, obviously. But you can kind of see the sides and stuff like that. Now, obviously, that one does have a different genetic in there. This is yellow belly versus leopard, which is going to darken that morph a lot. But there's a lot going on in there. It is definitely an awesome animal. We're back. But that is kind of what I made it from. And it just kind of goes to show you can do something like that. So, and this is a cheap way to do it. Right now, anyways. We'll see what it goes for. So, if you are on a budget, but you still want to make cool things, I always try to show animals like this off that I think that you can get for a good deal. Don't just make normals. There's no need to make normals anymore. You can still do it cheaper. That's the cool thing about prices coming down, is that you can still make awesome things, or take a chance to make awesome things, and not spend $1 bajillion. Let's guess what I'm getting at. And this is a good one to do that with. You get the females, you get the hets and the females. You can save a few bucks doing that, I feel. You know, working visual clearly is better, but I mean, you can't, if you're doing new things, you have to work hets at some point anyway. So let's look at the comments again. Oh, wow, there's a lot of comments. There's a chocolate desert ghost hat monsoon male for 2,500. My save, but that's 2,500. Yes, it is. I get what you're saying. That's a nice one though. DGs with that, I think that would be an ideal one. At that point though, you'd probably want to get a well, I guess you could go head to head to save some money if you wanted, but you know, you get the Monsoon girl that's het for DG. That's going to be I don't know if that's even for sale. Pinstripe makes combos a whole pain to ID. I don't know. It can. It's not for everything. You shouldn't throw pinstripe in everything. I love pinstripe, but it shouldn't be in everything. I have a super chocolate DG pin that I will take over Monsoon all day. So I like them all. But pin is, I think, heavily hated on for some reason. I don't know why. Keeping my eye on the stranger leopard het clown. Currently bidding. There you go. That might have been you then. That looks like you. It shouldn't be doxing you. It's not doxing you, but you get the point. It shouldn't be saying like, yeah, he's the one. But yeah, no, I think this would be a good one. I really do. Like I said, and like I said, I have mine. I put mine to a GHI. So I also made some GHI versions. In a way, I was kind of hoping to create. Actually, hand me the really dark ones. The ones that we're certain are GHI strangers over there. I'm gonna make you keep putting that goddamn mask on. So I hit some of those. So now that I hit it, I don't know if I would want to hit the visual clown version, except for out of curiosity's sake. 'Cause I don't know what it would do to the pattern. They are dark. What am I saying? I want to hit it. The GHI Strangers. Yeah. Got really dark? Let me see her. Yeah, it's a dark snake. She looks primed to bite me too. So it like wipes a lot of the pattern out. You do get some stuff near the belly there. What am I doing? I need to keep doing this. There you go. Pretty dark animal. Wipes the pattern out. You see some stuff near the belly. You got to get a better lighting system in here. It's just a webcam light, obviously, right behind there. So you get some pattern on the side. The other one has like none. So she's gonna bite somebody. But yeah, I wanted to work that. I don't know what my next. I mean, she just obviously I haven't started pairing her yet again because they were all late layers this year. So those ones I need to wait on. So gorgeous, appreciate that. I feel like there is something else in that auction, pretty light and yellow for Leo and Stranger. Like I said, I think there can be some good variety in that though. There's a good amount of variety in there. So, do you like Extreme Gene? We bought a Sin Enchi Calico Banana Extreme Gene. I've seen it in some really good things. I almost got one at one point. I think it was from Mark Petros. I took a stab at bidding on one. I remember at one point. I don't remember what everything was in it though. It's been like years. But I've liked some of the stuff I've seen, yeah, for sure. That's my struggle looking into it because I'm somewhat on a low budget, but love to skip a few generations. Yeah, so that's the thing is kind of go for stuff like here. If you're on a lower budget, find what works. Work your hets against each other, and what I mean by that is, you know, if you have a female, like if you have a double recessive, if you have a let's just use pie. You know, if it was back in the day, I bought into a project for a lot of money, and I bought them as adults, but I still work the hets against each other, and I still have them to this day. And I got a male albino het pied, and females, 2 of them that were pied het albinos. So I worked those hets against each other at the time, which was, it's been quite a bit of time, but they're still here. Those are not getting $1,000 a pop for the animals anymore, but I still like creating them. They're cool little pets, the albino pieds that is, but that you can work the hets against each other and save money, I guess is what I'm saying. Het to het is a little tougher, but if you have to go that route you can, but it you know, at that point you're testing a lot of animals with our you know, if you can do it, go visual to het, in terms of recessives anyways. We got ours from Balls and Strikes. They do good stuff. Yeah, he's a cool guy. I've had conversations with them. So, what's your opinion on Trojan? Trojan is heavily underrated. Heavily underrated. It is such a cool morph. There's a lot you can do with it. Get a drink here so I don't die like I did that one stream. Get the dang bang out of there. Nice. I very much like Trojan. I think there's a lot that can be done with it, and a lot that should continue to be done with it. It's not a morph I see very often too, so I think there's something about that too. When you work something that has something that you can show, like, hey, look, this has something I can show. It's not subtle in any way. I can show you this, and it's not super well known, and it's got a cool name like Trojan. Then, you know, I think that there's something to be said about that from a marketing standpoint too. So yeah, I definitely think they're cool and heavily underrated. So, all right, moving along. Speaking about lace, this is a cool opportunity. A lace 100% het zebra girl. Not sure how much this will go for, because people will see this and they'll go be like, again, lace is subtle, and it's that time of year. I think right now people, because there's not much shipping and people are shopping for Christmas stuff. And typically, you don't give a pet for Christmas. Some people do. I've never been about that because you never know what kind of pet they want, and honestly, you don't know if they're if they're should have pets, quite frankly. But you get the point. I don't think that a lot of people are in the buying market right now, and that it represents itself by the fact that there's normally 20-25 pages and there's 11 right now. So and just a couple days ago it was 8, I think, when I was kind of just looking and stuff like that. I always got an eye on these things. So the point of the matter is this lace is incredible. When you get it in the right things, it's very subtle. So, and I don't have the thing on. I caught it though. Caught it before I did it. We're gonna need like a I don't know, a meme button for this, because I just start talking. But I caught it. Okay, lace 100% het zebra right here. Lace is super subtle, and you can see here that like it does have a cool amount of pattern, but you usually get some whites near the bellies kind of creeping up and stuff like that. Now the super lace, known as the white lace, that's pretty obvious. It has this popcorning near the belly. That's really, really cool how that affects it. Kind of pushes the pattern up a tad bit, and has that. It's almost like a secondary pattern, very small but along the belly. Very cool. But when you get these into certain combinations, it's really cool. And again, I don't think anybody's made a lace zebra, but zebra is obviously one that just has a lot of zigzag. What am I thinking? That's why the pattern's cool. Zebra, the hets are very, very much visual in my opinion. Zebra itself bands in this zigzag-like pattern over the back of the snake. It's very visual, very awesome. Has an incredible interaction with other genetics like yellow belly and such like that. But even the het will do a lot of this, as you can see. Very, very visual for a het. You can usually tell. Very easily if you have a het. Let's just put it that way. But the super form, or sorry, not the super form, because it is classified as a recessive. The visual zebra is very much different. Zebra ball python. No, not zebra ballpoint pens. Here we go. And of course it's going to pull the zebra bee. Why would it do that? Don't morph. Okay, that's okay. Here it is right here. A few of them on our little Google page here that are very nice. Here's one that's incredible. Well, look at that one. Like I said, it just creates that like zebra stripe type look, right? That's where it got its name. A lot of them are like these little zipper type looks going down the back of it. Lace is a pattern enhancer very much. It enhances anything it's in, and when you start to get it in the combos, it very much becomes way more self-evident. So really cool one that I think this one, like I said, this one here is an incredible opportunity for somebody. And I think that people will sleep on it because, again, not everybody clearly, but some people look with their eyes, and which is an important thing. Eyes are very important sense, but they don't read it. They just look real quick and then they keep moving. And it's about what's under the surface here that matters. And it is, again, just an incredible opportunity for somebody. And if nobody goes for it, again, it's one that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. So let's see here. Trident is nice too. Super familiar with that one. I know I've heard of it, but I'm not super familiar with that one. We won an Inchy Trojan for 35 bucks. Nice. Yeah, like I said, Trojan's a cool one. So I definitely want to start working it into like some other more. I know like it's almost like it's not like Monarch obviously, but I don't know, kind of in that direction in a way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the wrong way to describe it, but it's definitely visual in terms of its color. It gets like a little bit of like a People haven't seen it. I sit there and talk about it earlier. Might as well. We're nearing the end here anyways. Trojan. Full Python. Yeah, just click on their actual one. So you can see here is very much like a colorish type morph. Kind of creates a enhances it. And you know, now I'm looking at it, almost like splashes of a little bit here and there. Almost some cleanness to it. Lightens and brightens the animal up for sure. I mean, look at this one. This is what I was talking about, like in that direction of Monarch, where you get these like deeper colors, not the mahogany type colors, but just deeper, like the shades, I guess. Very cool, very visual morph. Like I said, it's there's a lot I think people can do with it. So, alrighty, let's see here. Premier has a listing right now of a Super Trojan combo if you want to show it. Take a look. Like, yeah, I didn't show the Super Trojan. Super Trojan. Full Python. It would help if I typed it correctly, I suppose. What am I thinking? I'll just go to the traits page. Or will I? What the heck's the traits page? We'll just do this. Super Trojan. What is going on right now? Did I hit like a button that causes me not to type? There we go. Alright, finally. Nothing's popping up. And for some reason, like I said, it says I'm not signed in, so I don't think it'll let me look at sold ones. Let me just try it in Google. I wasn't even aware they had like a super form for it or anything like that. Do they classify it as a dominant? No, it says incomplete dominant, yeah. No, I had seen one. Yeah, I'm not seeing it though, and I can't, unfortunately, since this bug is not letting me into it right now. You have to be logged in to look at historical ads. So got to mix with tri-stripe. That's another great one. See that the color is adults as well. They definitely age well. They definitely age well, and that is sometimes the name of the game. What morph caused the solid black head and the panda you showed earlier? Oh, that's just panda pied. So oh yeah, sorry. Panda pied is super black pastel and pied. So super black pastels are like very dark, like black. But when you get it into pied, they for whatever reason, the dark morph, it very much turns into a high white snake. So that is that. Alrighty, go to this one, Sunset Het Clown. Again, another reserve price from a really great breeder. We've gotten some stuff from Petrogenetics. They are awesome. Their quality is wonderful. You can see it proof in the pudding right there. This is a very nice glowing animal. It looks like, doesn't it look like there's a light underneath of it? Doesn't it look like somebody's got a flashlight underneath of it and it's just kind of glowing? That's what I love about Sunset. It really does look like that, especially in this picture right here. It looks like it's on top of a flashlight and somebody turned it on. You know how that is, like when you can kind of see like the translucent, like if you put a flashlight through your finger, you can kind of see it. It looks like that, but it's like fire kind of coming out from it. So anyways, now I'm done geeking about it, let's talk about it. The good thing about this is you get a clown Het Sunset girl to put this to, and you're going for, not ads, that. That is a sunset clown in its basic form. There's a lot of cool things you can go from there, like the spot nose. It really lightens it up and creates even crazier patterns, kind of like very it kind of stretches the pattern up a little bit, I'd say, and spaces it out, just makes it look a little bit cleaner. This is already an awesome looking animal as is. that's the sort of stuff that you're potentially going for. And I don't think a clown het sunset's going to cost as much as you might think. So that's the sort of, I mean, that's what you can eventually go for. And why not, while you're at it, get something with you know, like a female with like a little bit extra, like that spot nose in there. So create some really cool, beautiful looking animals. Again, reserve price, but just like I said, bid it up in increments to where you are comfortable. Don't just throw $1,000 on this if that was your high, because maybe it ends at 500, right? Who knows, right? Who knows? It probably doesn't end at 500, by the way, but who knows? Bid to where you're comfortable in little increments, $50 increments maybe, and stop when the reserve drops off, and then it becomes a regular auction. If it does not drop off, again, just leave it when you're done. If it gets to where you want it to be and it's not there, just leave it. Someone else will either pick up that baton and go, or it will just end, and you won't be required to pay for it because it was reserved and it just nulls. So very, very cool. Let me try to get a solid black hat into Exantic TSK Monsoon combo. In that case, just that's what I would recommend, is get that DG into there then, because it's going to create a really stark looking animal, I'd say. I think that it will at least feel like it would be very contrasted, right? Little teeny crumbs of black throughout the whole thing. Really cool. Isn't a super, it's a stranger Trojan clown hit Monsoon. Oh, nice. Here, I'll take a look, try to find it. We're just talking about stranger anyways. Stranger Trojan clown. And Monsoon can affect pattern a little bit. I wouldn't say it's as crazy as the zebra. Stranger Trojan clown. Okay. Inchy one? Oh, here it is. There's an Inchy one right here too. Very cool. And the Inchy just, it almost creates that zebra type look, right? Yeah, I love Stranger. I absolutely love this morph. It is so cool. Right there, that sort of stuff is all what it's all about. So GHI, that's why I love that morph. Perfect little cross head there too. Kind of fades out and you get a V there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love the head stamp from Hognoses. That is one of the things it is definitely most known for. So, all right, moving on to our last two here would be starting with this Mahogany Pied Het Sunset. Several different things you can do here. Obviously, immediately I think of the Suma Pied, which is the Super Mahogany Pied. So maybe just put this to itself. I don't know what that would look like. The cool thing about Suma Pieds is that you're getting something insane that is dark for the most part, but almost looks Paradox, right? Even this one almost looks Paradox, because it's just a lot of different shades there, right? And they just happen abruptly. But it is just what Mahogany does, and it works really good with Pied. The Super Mahoganies have several different colors. You'll have some pitch blacks. You'll have some like deep dark, like, well, mahogany, like wood. You have some lighter ones there. It almost looks like someone applied staining to the animal, but several different kinds of staining on like a deck or something like that. It's super nice. But now throw Sunset into that, I don't even know. So since they aren't just pitch black, and I actually appreciate that in them, I think you get something pretty crazy. Not sure. You definitely get something that's different. It looks different. I don't know what that would look like, but that's kind of the whole point of it. So, this is another cool animal I saw in here, and I'd never seen anything with this, set of morphs and genetics, I should say, made available. So just something to think about for sure. And then our final one would be Desert Ghost Clown. No reserve, clean as a whistle. 2 days left, almost 3. And looks like it was a DG clown to a Krypton at DG. And if you don't know what Krypton is, it's a allelic combo. It's a mixture of clown and cryptic. Those are an allelic combo that create something, and they're always going to pass either clown or cryptic along. And this is obviously a clown, so it passed the clown along. So you were only ever going to get more Kryptons or clowns out of this combo. And then the fact that it was DG, obviously. So really cool. Very clean. Lots of stuff you can do with these. DG clowns are awesome. If you want to work the Desert Ghost project, it has come down considerably, obviously. And that's a good thing, I think, getting people into certain things. Like I said, this is a really nice, clean one, too. There's different DGs out there, literally, by the way. There's different ABC, right? EC is, I think, the one that people at least think might be enhancer, and the most, at least I hear. I don't work DG myself, so I can't say outside of just what I hear from people who do work it. C, the DGC is the best looking one, is what I'm told. So I don't know which one this would be. They are all compatible, I believe, and it's just fascinating how just genetics work. Realistically, they're kind of all allelic, but different genetics. That's just really what it kind of comes down to, I believe. RGI has a whole thing on that from a while back. I recommend, if you are confused or wanting to know, or both, about the Desert Ghost complex or morph itself, I recommend checking that one out, because they are definitely the experts when it comes to the sciencey looking at the genetic portion of it, and they help out a lot with that. So all right, I think that is just about it. Look at some extra comments. If anybody else has questions or anything like that, just let me know. I watch these and I'm like, how many can I manage to sneak in the house without my family ending me? Yeah, I get it. Definitely don't want to do anything that others are uncomfortable with, though, because we obviously want people to love these animals. So I'd say just let the animals convince them. Take them to a show. Ball pythons are very good at convincing people that they're awesome. So they come in plenty of different patterns and paint jobs, and they're just about as calm and nice as can be. So they're very good at convincing people not to be afraid of snakes. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions, just let me know now. This Sunday, what do we have? Is it an egg cutting?
Yes.
Which one? Do you know?
Offhand, no.
Okay.
It's like 2 of them, so.
Yeah, we have obviously a lot of egg cuttings and stuff like that we pre-film, and just as things are coming out, we don't want to just egg cut, so we film other things in between and hold them. But there's an egg cutting on Sunday. I think in the future we're going to talk about I think we're going to show off some of my holdbacks and some of my top pickups of the year, of which might not even be ball pythons, just to let you know. Well, the holdbacks will be, but pickups might not be, because I got into Cape house snakes, which I am very fastly falling heads over heels for. They're just something else. They're out of this world. So probably show some of those off in that video. Have not filmed those yet, but just kind of thinking stuff. It'll be in the end of the year. We kind of try to keep it a little bit easier. Stuff that's a little bit easier for us to do, so that we can just spend time with family and stuff like that, obviously. So let's see, that's where I'm at when it comes to budget. How much can I spend without the wife disappearing me? Well, if you're breeding them, what you need to do is start making the machine pay for itself. That's what I've done, and now that I don't literally spend any money, and I mean that, of what I make for my actual job. Everything that I get, it comes from what I'm selling. So and I've been able to fuel a lot of awesome things from that. So that's what you got to do. Now there is initial investments, and then and stuff like that, and then occasionally if you want to get into really big things, you will need to spend some money, but if you're on a budget and stuff like that, there's no shame in that. Just you can make cool things with it. It might be a little harder to make them, obviously, but you can still do it, is what I'm getting at. Don't just throw a leopard fire, that's kind of neat, to an Anchi or something like that. You can make cool things on a budget. and I like to show people how to do that. Obviously, I show you a lot of cool stuff we see up here, things that caught my eye, but I always try to show things that are within budget friendly too, because I think that this is for everybody. This is for everybody that wants to be. You know, I think that there's a way you can figure it out. Besides, the cost of the animal is going to be as much as your rat bill these days. That's what the goal is, but I feel like you can't do that without spending a decent amount to do it up front, at least to do it quickly. To do it quickly, yes. Although, I think that there's something to be said with proven breeders. When I started, this was not really an option to do it quickly, at least not with, even with normals, they were still kind of up there. But nowadays it is. You can get proven breeders for pretty reasonable prices, and you can still make decent stuff with it. Stuff at least that will sell. That's the thing. You don't want to create something that someone's not, it's going to be tough to move, right? So it needs to be somewhat visually, even if it's not highly sought after in a breeding project. Because that's no fair to the animal that sits there, and then you're kind of like, oh my god, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, right? You know, if they start coming and you just kind of sit with these animals, feeding them all the time, and you start to get on you and you wanted to move them quick, trust me, we've all been there, to an extent at least. But you try to make something, I mean, even if it's a pied or a clown, something, and you don't sell it for an exorbitant amount, look at the market and realize at a show and stuff like that, that you're not having to ship it or spend shipping and stuff like that. But if you're making something that has some visual appeal to it, something that that people are going to say, that's unique, that's kind of cool, it's not just your normal looking snake, I think you can do that on a budget nowadays. So, I mean, proven breeders, like I mentioned earlier, the ones that I bought, those oops, sorry about that, those pied head albinos and the albino het pied male that I bought a long time ago, I paid for the whole group, well, I shouldn't say how much I paid, but it was 4 digits, and it wasn't just starting to be 4 digits. I invested a good amount. They don't, the babies used to sell for $1,000 a pop, and when, you know, since I bought breeders, they were ready to go that year, so I was part of that, getting for those, and you know, at one point there were even more. That's the point, though, is that you, depending on when you get into it, it's going to be more, right? So I did that. I made that initial investment. I have since made, they've made their money is worth. Now they do not sell for that, but they still sell, and they're cool, and they sell as cool little pet things. So you could, you could spend a lot less these days, I guess, on proven breeders. Plus, if you haven't bred before, I think it's a great thing to do to train yourself. Because even though I say and stand by the fact that it is a fairly easy process, it is a delicate process, and it is a life. So it is, a lot of people panic about it. So I think getting that experience under your belt is really important. And if you can do that without first investing in a younger hatchling that's worth a lot of money, you drop $3,000, for example, on a hatchling, on like a group of them, right, and grow them up for 3 years or whatever it is, and if you're lucky, and go from there. You're waiting all that time, and that whole time that you spent that initial investment, that investment is now depreciating because supply and demand, other people are creating it, right? And you still are no closer to having that experience. So I think getting a proven breeder before you start going bonkers berserk into buying highly priced animals, to create your first clutch, get that under your belt, get that experience under your belt, incubate them, hatch them, feed them, these hatchlings, and raise them to a point where you can then sell them to somebody. I think that experience is invaluable, and now it's cheaper to do. So I think there is something to said to just getting one in there, and you don't think you have to do it creating normals. So my family okay with them, just limited a little. Oh, I get it, yeah. Once I get my female, my next pairing is going to be a banana OD het pied to a pied OD. Those are cool. It's banana pieds are ones that I see go all the time. So there's certain ones that you make pieds, certain combos of them. Blue-eyed Lucy's, highways, freeways. These just go. They're what we like to call what pays the rat bill. They sell. So it's nothing like crazy for like combos and stuff like that we're like tinkering with, thinking about, but they sell. So pied clowns and bananas are always cool. Yep. But and pied clowns have come down too. So, and they're awesome. Only 2 because they're waiting. What would you recommend as a good starting morph in terms of cost and interest in the market? Ooh. Well, there's a lot, right? I mean, obviously, it's tempting to just tell you to go clown pied, because those are very highly sought after, and they are very, very highly worked. That's the other thing. It's almost a double-edged sword, because that's the case. There's a lot more competition in those. So if you depends on how much time you have in wanting to look into it and stuff like that. But there's a lot of different options, I guess, to answer that question. And in the end, ultimately, even though I can tell you monetarily something that might be good, I think there is something to be said for working what you're passionate about. If you're not passionate about creating these things, I think that you're going to find that your interest itself is going to erode, especially if the money doesn't live up. You know, the money should not, the overall making of the money should not be, it can be. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Anybody who tells you making money is bad, is just wrong. But I do think that there's something to be said about the passion being the fuel for it, because the money can dry up in certain areas. And if that was the passion behind it, when that will dry up, just right? That just kind of makes sense. If the passion was the money making, whereas the passion is the love to do this stuff, the love about certain morphs and stuff like that, that'll keep going and allow you to kind of retool and think about things too. But clown and pied are good ones. If you're just looking for something that to kind of train with, to learn, to maybe move on from, bells are great. That's anything, the bell complex, lesser, bamboo. Bamboos are awesome too. I love bamboo because bamboo looks great by itself. So if you miss and just get a bamboo, cool, you still got a bamboo. I sell bamboos like hotcakes, like all the time. Love making them. Will always make them. They're probably one of my bread and butters, honestly. Here, bamboos, and specifically with the bells. I keep striking out with bells. I have horrible luck with bells. It's probably why I cheer every time I hit one. And there's simple combos to make, but those ones are cool. Highways and freeways are awesome to make from a simple standpoint. That's yellow belly asphalt, or yellow belly gravel. They have heavy, strong looks. You know, they definitely are very, very striking, to say the least. So I guess it depends on kind of what you're going for there. If you're looking for other combos, like cutting edge things, obviously the price is going to go up a little bit more, but you can always work head to head. Not ideal, but you know, when you work head to head, you're 1 in 4 chance of getting that morph. So, yeah. So I guess it just kind of depends on how your interest is. If you're looking for an investment morph, it's for cost, it's going to be difficult to do that unless you go head to head. But if it's just for cool stuff right now to learn, that's very easy in my opinion. And there's a trillion different options I could throw at you other than the ones I kind of gave you. I hope that helped. So always feel free to reach out to me on social media if you want to ask me more questions. I can't guarantee I'll get to you right away, but I will. First snake I got in coming back into snakes was an OD clown pied. Nice. Yeah, I still remember when those were astronomically priced. Tri-stripe has a nice balance of price interest. That's a good one. That's a really good one, Hilltop. I saw Tri-stripe's price. I don't know why. It came down really a lot. So there's a lot of availability in working something really cool. It's about there's a few different snakes that create like a stripe down the back. Genetic stripe probably being the most, at least that I think is the most commonly known one, but tri-stripe is it's like a really thick dark stripe going down the back of it. So very cool. In a way though, kind of like how the monsoons work, it's hard to really influence that pattern because it really pulls it all up to the dorsal of the snake. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, color's the name of the game when you're doing that. So and yeah, they are available. My goal isn't to make a living, just to be able to support my habit. Yeah, then those will do it. You want the bread and butter things, the highways, the freeways, the bells, you know, clown combos, pied combos, things that are easy to make because there's a lot of availability and are very strikingly looking animals. They're gonna command someone's attention. Is kind of what you're looking for, and then that will help support kind of that. So, and even if you didn't want to work expos and stuff like that, how I started was selling to pet shops. I just got good friends with some of the pet shops, and to hopefully responsible other breeders, and you know, resellers. I know resellers get a bad name, and some of them definitely deserve that bad name, but I know a good amount of people who resell and to do the right thing. You know, they do the quarantines, they do everything, they make sure the animal's good. I mean, pet shops are resellers, and somehow they aren't looked down upon, just when they show up to an expo somehow. There is a temptation, though, when you're a reseller, I think, to hurry the process, though, right? And maybe buy from not good sources. So always be careful when you are buying from a reseller. Just make sure you do your research on anyone you buy from. But again, I know a lot of good resellers, a lot. So, passion first, money secondary. And if I get the feed costs back, I'm happy. Yeah, kind of how I feel about it. And it's nice that they seems to be self-fueling. So very happy about that. So. Yorkie, just stumbled on your channel. Great education. I appreciate that very much. I had no idea that there were so many colors. Had one for about 15 years, but couldn't tell you what it was. Thought they all looked alike. Yeah, this is about as diverse as it gets when it comes to reptiles, my friend. Any like so many different colors and patterns are available. It is such a diverse morph. There's something for everyone in terms of the look. And it doesn't hurt that they are just very agreeable animals that are just really, really relaxed. So making sure I'm not missing anything here. They hang out with you. Like I said, you find a dime a dozen here, right? Like this. All sorts of different looks and patterns here. And this isn't even a tenth of what we all have. So, so like I said, you can't really get much better than this. So, and welcome. Appreciate you finding us, Yorkie. Really wanting to make my Monsoon combos is the problem. So I may have to do other stuff until then. You helped me tremendously both on this live and other vids. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Monsoon is coming down though. Monsoon's coming down in price. You can get the hets. You can go head to head and start making them yourself. Obviously that adds a bit of time, you know, to get those combos together. If you did that, a minimum of 3 years being added, you know, to create just the single genes. You can probably get some extra genes in there too. But yes, you get the point. They have come down considerably. Even for the visuals, like I said, there's these ones here. Keep an eye on them. Those are visuals, obviously, too, so they are going to be up there. But you can get hets, or you can, if you have the ability, you can get one of them, preferably the male, and then a het female, or maybe 2 het females, and then, you know. But even het to het, it's a 1 in 4 chance of getting the visual, right? And then you're going to want to do testing on some other ones, because the hets, you know, or you know, I guess you don't have to do the testing, but I do think it's definitely worth it. So. And the Discord. Yes, I know. And obviously, please feel free to talk amongst yourself and tag me, as always, because I am not always able to jump on and whatnot. Obviously, I'm at work, so I have to mute it for the most part at work, too. Just because I can't have that. Not that I have to. I don't want it to be distracting me. So, so you know, I'm not looking at that sort of stuff then. So please at me if you have a question specifically for me, or hell, you know, talk amongst yourselves too. Of course, you know, I just want it to be a good community, really. But it is available. Share pictures, whatnot too. So forget the bananas. Yeah, banana monsoon. I want to see those. So Yes, we do have a Discord, although I will admit I'm not terribly active, as I mentioned on it. So, you want to link it? The Discord? So, might as well link it before we get off here, which we are going to call it a day here pretty soon. Getting it up here right now to send that link out. So, but yeah, I think we'll go ahead and call it there. Obviously, we'll send that link in the chat here very momentarily. Again, egg cutting this week, upcoming videos. There's some more egg cuttings. We're going to talk about our top pickups from the year, holdbacks. There's going to be 2 separate videos, I think. A lot of them are literally behind me and have grown considerably. We're going to talk about, I don't know what else there might be. I don't know. We film a lot in advance, obviously, too. So, and if you haven't checked any of them out, we still have, if you never made it to a big show like that, we still have our Tinley Park walkthrough from October. That's really cool. We have one that we're really happy and proud about was our Halloween video. If you haven't seen that yet, check that out. It was a hybrid video, but we always do the like a little bit of fun with the Halloween stuff, right? So we kind of mix in like a horror element into it. Like, it's a really different video from what I normally do. Like, I'm kind of semi-acting in it. It's weird, right? But we kind of have a story that kind of goes through it to semi-entertain on that regards too, where there's some scares and all that sort of stuff. So very happy with that. So I know you said you've probably seen it, but definitely check out the Spot Nose Hurricane Yellow Belly Clown if you haven't. Is it on the auction here? I might be able to do it super quick. Pythons. There we go. That was dumb. I'm not gonna do it there. That's excluded too. You can tell I'm getting tired. This is gonna pull up a lot, but we're gonna get it started. It's not in the auction. Okay, I'll remove that filter here in a second. Hurricane. So I hope if I spelled that right as well. Hurricane. Yellow belly. Clown. Oh, yeah, that's very nice. See, there's a lot of different looks here too. So yeah, that's incredible. And like I said, yeah, I do believe I've seen this one. You can tell here some hurricane clowns have like they kind of regain their eye stripes, but it's really wonky, thick, and wavy. I wouldn't say they regain them. It's just pattern that just happens to be on the head there. And this one has like this horseshoe kind of looking thing. So very cool. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, of course, happy to. So, all right, I think we'll go ahead and call it there. Again, appreciate everybody joining. It was fun to do these. I'll try not to let it be a month again before my last one. Ideally, I want to do every other week for a live, and then during the off weeks, I want to do like a non-live where it's just uploaded on Friday. But it's the holidays and all this stuff going on right now. It's been a little more difficult, but I will commit that I will say that I will try. So anyways, I will see you in the next one. Again, thank you very much for coming out, and have a great night.